Welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. Same brand but lower model. What you can expect. So I've written this nice document, made it very big so you guys can read it. And this is basically it here. And I just want to say a couple of words. That is that I feel that when you're buying lower models from the same brand, usually, not always, but usually you have a vague sound, a weak sound, a polite sound. And I've gone into more detail about it here. And I feel that many times when you take lower models, it just doesn't feel like you're really true to that in-house sound of that brand, that you're maxing out the sound and you've got that thing 100%. Like I've written down here, let me just show you with this amplifier here, this MA 7000 amplifier. Just see how big it is. When I heard this, I only heard this a couple of times, but just looking at it, the size of it, the looks of it, it's a statement from Macintosh that just kind of almost deactivates your brain. It's so, you can't really lift this thing as a single person. You really have to be two people to lift this thing. And just taking it out of the box, I actually helped some people take it out of the box and set it up with them. And it comes on this, I think it's this like wooden plate thing that where you unscrew it from underneath. Taking it out of the box, unscrewing the screws underneath, putting it on the hi-fi rack. It's so big, it's so heavy, and it just has a sort of physical presence that almost, it keeps you awestruck. It's just you just almost don't care how this thing sounds, because the whole presentation of it is really enough to almost win anybody over. I know that a lot of people don't like Macintosh because of this and that reason, but there are also a hell of a lot of people that really like Macintosh. And I feel that if you just want that pure half old-fashioned top Macintosh transistor sound, this is the amp. It's just such a powerful statement when you pull it out and you see the LED watt meters. It's so simple, but still feels as if it has everything. And look, it even has server and DVD recorder, and it's just funny. I don't think the newer ones have that. Not sure about that, but and it was so funny for me listening to this amp, because I knew that this was far from the best amp that I've ever heard, but still I kind of wanted to own it, simply because it was just such a power statement having it there. And it's pretty difficult fitting this into a rack, even when you're two people. I've tried that. It's pretty damn heavy. I think it's like around 40 kilos, something like that, 45 kilos. I don't know. My God, was that heavy. But I'm just saying, that's the difference between having a fully high model amp and then going with a much lower model. It's just sometimes, like with this amp here, there's just a sort of presence. And I remember listening to this thing and just thinking, like, why can't I stop listening to this? Because this isn't really that good, But it's just because it's 100% committed to a certain type of sound, a certain mode, where there was a lot of power, a lot of control, a lot of ease, and it was just ridiculously vulgar and evil non-caring in this sort of narcissistic way, but it just still had its sort of mind control over your brain, where you were like, yeah, I still don't care about that, because it was just such a powerful statement, installing that, connecting it to, I think we used MIT cables, which also was a really good clicking type of sound. And power wise, this thing can basically drive all speakers in the world, basically. So it would work with basically all speakers, but yeah, it would also I also noticed that it had definitely a sort of suppressor effect on the sound. So it would be compatible with a lot of speakers, but it would also put a huge amount of its own type of sound on the speaker, having it sort of like forced and behaved so this would kind of dominate the sound of the speaker. But still, it was just so, I don't know what you say. It's a bit like dealing with, I've never tried it, but I can only imagine having to deal with some kind of a mobster, It was just disgustingly good in a very almost perverse kind of way. And yeah, it's one of my weaknesses in hi-fi, where I just feel that I almost can't trust myself in regards to this specific amplifier, because it just had like a mental grip on me. So it wasn't really that good sounding, but yeah, it just made a big had a huge impact on you mentally, at least for me. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I feel that once in a while, when you just find these amps that are up there, and it's like a flagship integrated amp. I think this was around 2008, 10, something like that, their biggest model. And I have to say that still to this date, it's one of the better, I would call, pretend hi-fi amps that I've heard to date. And yeah, it does a lot of things that aren't really that good, but it's just so, yeah, I would say 100% committed to a certain type of sound. And I find that with a lot of lower models on the market, you just don't get that commitment of type of sound, where it's going in this direction or that direction, or this doing this thing or that thing. It's just kind of all over the place, sort of out of that in-house sound, being vague, polite, weak, and you're just like, you don't really know, and just turning off the music because you're just not like really interested in it. And I just feel that that's kind of sad. So I just wanted to make this video with a statement saying that, like, whatever brand that you take, by making sure that you have that flagship top model amp, I think that usually that is a very good thing to do, if you can at all do it. And I would strongly suggest that you just wait, like, I don't know, half a year, 2 years, until you can do that, because there's just this sort of mental ease when you take it out of the box, connect it, and it's just so big that you almost, mentally sort of loosen up, and you just almost know that this is really good, without even having turned it on and listened to music. It just, the looks of it, it just screams like this is good in some sort of a way, So this could easily have been Audio Flight top model from some year, or it could be Audio Research, like a top model. I think that would also do a similar thing. Or if I had like a really good mid-high Pass Labs monoblock and preamp combination, I think it would create a similar effect, or a let's just say an Aquaphase, pretty damn high expensive model Aquaphase, I think it would also create like a similar effect to this thing. So I just want to say, bigger models, it does matter. It does have a mental effect on you. And yeah, that's just my opinion. And I would of course like to hear this specific amp here with like top Hollow May DAC together with my friend's top streamer, and then get some one of those disgusting MIT MA Magnum cables or higher, they have like this really dry, wide sound stage, very easy type of sound, that effortless type of sound, not really very natural. But again, it just, with this Macintosh amp, it just really clicks really well into that religion of sound. So yeah, that's basically the message of this video. If you can, just go 100% into a sound, and yeah, I recommend this amp for a lot of people. If you like Macintosh, then be a purist and get something like this. So, having said that, like and subscribe if you can. Bye.